I like that beat. Ooh, hey. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another Tuesday Night Live. How are you? How is everybody doing out there? For those of you guys that are coming in brand new to the show, welcome in. And my name is Jackie Gonzalez. I work for Expedia Cruises, and I'm also here on this channel. So, welcome to my channel. Welcome in, Miss M. Welcome in. She's actually not working today. So, welcome in, my love. Thank you so much for being here, for your support. Harlan, welcome in, sir. Also, thank you for your support, for always being here on the channel. Today is actually all about questions and answers. Throw out all the questions that you want to ask, and I will answer your questions. We also have some questions that people have sent over to me. So we're going to talk about those questions and some answers. And also, we're also be getting ready. We're going to be leaving here. Let me see, in about 15 days to start of the seas. So we have to get that ready and rolling to see our brand new Star of the Seas. We were invited. For those of you that do not know that, we got invited to Star of the Seas. So we will be there on August 13th to the 16th. So welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello, and happy Tuesday. It is a Tuesday cruise show, and I'm just super excited to be here. Tomorrow, guys, we'll be having Across the Wave, and it's going to be for the Port of Malta. It is at 8 p.m. So if you want to hear all about the Port of Malta, come back tomorrow for that. We had a little bit of a situation last week. We had a storm passing by, and the Wi-Fi was completely gone. So that was the reasoning why we couldn't do the show last week. But I'm just super happy to be here with you guys today. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys have any questions for me, whether it's cruise related and all of that stuff, just put it down in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to check out your questions and answer them for you. For those of you that don't know, I'm also a travel advisor, so you can ask me all the cool questions. So let's start with the most important question, because I got this question about 4 times. So the first question, hello, the Queen of Disney, welcome in. Miss Samara Brown is in the house, and she's going to be here in Florida in December. So, hey, I can't wait for Miss Samara to be here in Florida. In November of this year, we're going to be having a special show for Across the Way, because Keith, Jeffy, and I are going to be here in Florida all together. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's coming down the road. But to start off the show about the questions and answer, I got this question 4 times, and it's about travel insurance. Is it important to have travel insurance? What do you all think? I say it's always important to have travel insurance. As a travel advisor, guys, I see everything. I see everybody's booking. I could see what you purchase, whether it's short excursions, spa treatments, photo packages, drink packages, I see it all. And sometimes, guys, we spend thousands of dollars when it comes to excursions, the cruise fare, the drink package, the Wi-Fi, the this, the that you want to add. And sometimes we kind of put aside the travel insurance part of it. And when you look at it, it's very minimal to the amount of a drink package. But it's a lot what it can help you with. Like, I'm going to tell you this story that happened this weekend. I had a group in the Carnival Glory I think they're still there right now, because they just left on Saturday. And one of the ladies from the group, mind you, everybody on the group bought travel insurance except for this one lady. And she was traveling with her daughter. So I get the call at about 3:45. It was a little bit before 4. And it was kind of strange, because I'm thinking, okay, maybe she's calling me from the ship, because at this point I already knew that they were supposed to be on board. She's like, I just got here to the port and they're not letting me in. The ship is still out there, but they're not letting me in. Is there something that you can do? Or maybe Carnival can push my cruise to another date? I'm like, nope, there's nothing that we can do. Carnival cannot push your cruise to another day because today was the day that you were supposed to travel. My next question was, what time was your embarkation? She said, oh, it was about 1:30, but I didn't think anything of it because the ship leaves at 4. I said, yeah, the ship leaves at 4, but the port closes at 2. So, she was okay because she understood it was her fault. She didn't have travel protection. And I said, if you at least would have had travel protection, maybe you could have, I guess, submitted something with them. I don't know if because not getting to the port in time, you were going to get something in back. But at least I let her know that she will get back her port taxes and fees, any excursions that she bought, gratuities and stuff like that, that you get back. What you technically lose is just the cruise fare portion of it all. But travel protection, guys, it is a must have. You know that you're okay today as you're booking your cruise, but you really don't know what's going to transpire between here and that date. Welcome in, Miss Mama Nancy. Thank you so much for being here. So you really don't know what's going to transpire between here and then. Anything can happen. I had a lady, she was supposed to leave July 19th or no, the 20th. Her mother passed away 2 days before the cruise. She had travel protection, so that at least covered her. So I sent her all the documentation that she needed from my side, and it covered her. So she's going to get all her money back. But it is super important to have travel protection, even if it's a minimal coverage that you can find, even if you purchase it on your own. We have different travel protection companies that we do work with. But if you find something that is a little bit cheaper, more like what you're looking for, at least have something, because travel protection does not only help you to get some refund back from your cruise if something happens, but it also helps you if something happens to you while you're on the cruise. It covers you, like medical expenses, evacuations, and things like that. So yes, I do truly believe what is travel protection. It is a must. What is a passport? I do tell everybody, please get yourself a passport, because it's going to cost you $250 for an emergency passport that is only good for 15 days. When a regular passport, you get $140 and you get your passport and you have it for 10 years. So even if, if you're buying something, just even if you're not traveling for the next year and you're purchasing your cruise now, put some money aside and get yourself a passport. Even though you can travel with your birth certificate and your ID, but if something happens to you, let's say in Jamaica, in Cozumel or wherever, you got to get a passport to come back, because with driver's license and birth certificate, they're not going to let you come back into the United States. So that is also a must have. What is a passport and travel protection? Look at Miss Nancy. She goes, I always do travel insurance. Yep, you have to have travel insurance because you never know what might happen. So it is important, guys. It is important. One of the questions that I got asked, and it was funny because, sometimes, when a customer calls me, or maybe people that friends, family, when you're planning a cruise or thinking about a cruise, you're like, okay, like I want to go to the Bahamas, or I want to visit San Juan, or I want to go to St. Thomas, or I want to go to Europe. I want to see, the Mediterranean and stuff like that. So one of the questions that they asked me was like, I'm a first-time cruises. Where should I go on my first cruise? Have anybody asked you that question? Where should I go on my first cruise? Sometimes, as a travel advisor, you have to kind of really think, okay, you got to get to know your customer first off, or maybe your family member, if their family member is coming to you. Got to get to know them exactly to see what is it that they like. So what I would always say, if I always ask the question, okay, do you want to go someplace where it's warm? Do you want to go someplace a little bit more cold? What is it that you enjoy doing? And depending on all of that information, then I can say, okay, you can go to the Caribbean, maybe Alaska, maybe you want to go to Europe. And then we start from there. You start kind of trickling everything down from there. And then you also got to figure out, what type of customer do you have as a travel advisor? or maybe you as a family member, my cousin, what kind of person he is. So is he a party goer? Is he more like a chill and relaxed kind of person? That way you can kind of match him with the actual cruise line that is more for him. Because you don't want to put somebody that wants something chill and relaxed on a Carnival cruise when it's all party and all of that stuff. So you got to figure all of those things out before you actually, put somebody, because when you're as a travel advisor, you're talking about somebody else's vacation. You want to make sure that that person is going to enjoy that vacation. And it's not going to come back, you know what, I really didn't enjoy it. That was not my vibe. That was not the cruise that I wanted. That was not the age appropriate that I wanted to have, or I wanted all adults and no children, different things. Um, the Harlan says the Mediterranean with a constant state of war. Well, it depends where you go, Harlan, in the Mediterranean, because I was just there last month and I truly enjoyed it. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on over there. But look at Samara. My dad is wearing his royal shirt. But like Samara, for instance, she likes a 3 to 4 night cruise to try it all out. But Samara is a Disney through and through. So Samara, you could put her on any Disney cruise. It don't matter if it's going to Antarctica. She'll be there. And then if she has a stay in Lagomar, then she'll even be fun. Because I already know Samara that way. So I haven't even met her, but I already know her. I could put her Samara in Lagomar and send her on Antarctica on the Disney Treasure, and she will be splendid. Like, she won't even question it twice. But you have to get to know your customer or your cousin or your family member, or your brother, your mom, to know exactly where to help them book that first cruise, if you put it that way. Because there's a lot of cool places to visit, guys. I tell you, there's a lot of great places to visit. Just to give you some of my own, if I were going to the Caribbean, I like going to Aruba. I like going to Curacao, Cartagena, Colombia. Those are my favorite 3. If you put me down in Europe, now that I've been to Europe, I love Portofino. I enjoyed Sicily was one of the places that I really enjoyed. Rome, I enjoy Rome. Paris, so it depends. You gotta, once you start traveling and all of that stuff, you kind of get to enjoy some of these ports. And the way that I see cruising is where you can actually visit the different ports of calls and get to know them a little bit and have that a little bit of that taste of that culture. And then you can say, you know what, I want to go back to Aruba for a whole week because I really enjoyed it. Versus you getting on a plane, you're going to Aruba, you have no idea what you're going to get yourself in. And next thing you know, you really didn't enjoy it, or you really didn't like the vibe, and that was really not you. That's the way that I see cruising, that it gives you that opportunity to kind of see the world and kind of like enjoy. See, Harlan likes to go to Canada. Canada is beautiful. You know what, Harlan? I have never been to Canada. I want to go to Canada. Maybe the next time around, I'll probably be booking something in Canada. Another question that I got asked, and it's so weird because I got a lot of questions from first-time cruisers. And today I even booked the cruise on a lady that it was her first time, and she's going to call me back next week to go over more details. And one of the questions now that I could think about that she asked me was, how much cash do I need to bring on a cruise? I don't know about you guys. Usually when I'm traveling, just me, like next week and a half when I go to Star, I probably bring like maybe $200 in cash, and then I'll just put everything on the card. I'm not one to purchase a whole lot on board either. And when I go to the casino, I might just go for a little bit. It's not like if I'm drowning thousands of dollars on the casino either. And usually when I bring cash, I just bring denominations of 20, 10s, 5s, and 1s. And if I'm at a port or something, I have some sort of, change instead of having to dish out a 20 or stuff like that. So that's usually how I go. And it's also depending on how many days am I going to be out there? If I'm going to do like a 3 or 4 day, I take 200. If I'm going to do a more like a 7 day, then it's a little bit more. When I'm traveling with children, it's a little bit more than that, because now you have children and you got to consider, if an emergency or something happens, you got to do whatever. At least you have some sort of cash just in case if you're in an area where you cannot use your credit card. So it's always good to have some sort of cash in your pocket just in case of an emergency. Harlan says, bring a few thousand, never carry more than a few hundred at a time. That is correct. But yeah, those are some questions that people ask. And a lot of people sometimes might just go on a cruise and not even have a single cent in cash and has everything on their credit card. And then you get to maybe Cozumel or St. Kitts or something, and they don't have a way of they need some cash because they cannot use the card. Then what do you do? What do you do? Look at Miss Nancy. Miss Mama Nancy says she loves the casino. I heard about this new casino game. It's called Huff and Puff, I think it is. I had one of my customers, she sent me a picture the other day. She goes, Jackie, whenever you go, you got to check this out. So now that I'm going on Start, I'm going to see if I see the machine to go check it out. Lots of places you can use a credit card. Yeah, there's a lot of places where you can actually use a credit card, but I don't recommend you use a credit card like on a taxi. I don't recommend a credit card on a taxi. I usually pay cash on a taxi because you don't know, with nowadays with all the fraud that is going on and things like that, it's always good to have some sort of cash. Everybody likes the casino. Look at Samara. She goes, I've never played the casino. Well, you don't have to worry because Disney doesn't have them. So you will never see a casino at Disney. This is a question that I also got, which was, what can I do on a cruise ship? Have you guys ever heard of this question? Like, what can I do on a cruise ship? Guys, there is so much to do on a cruise ship. Not only you have all the activities like trivia, karaoke, you have the Broadway shows, or sometimes depending on the ship that you are, you have the skating rink where you can actually skate during the day and have a show at night. You have the Aqua Theater if you're in a Royal Caribbean show. In a Royal Caribbean ship. And if you're in Carnival, you have the Bolt. If you are on a Norwegian, you have the go-karts. If you are in MSC Cruises, you have the Cliffhanger. So there's all these different cruises that can give you multiples of hundreds of different activities. Depending on the cruise line that you get, there's all sorts of activities. One thing that I'm going to share with you guys today, because I don't think a lot of people know this. If you're going on a cruise, you can go to Google and you can put Start of the Seas, and then you put fact, FCAT, sheet. And that will give you a whole pamphlet of the actual Start of the Sea, and you can see everything they have. Every ship has a fact sheet. MSC Seashore, fact sheet. Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas, fact sheet. All of them have it. You go on Google, and it's kind of like a little pamphlet that is a little book, and it tells you everything that ship has. How many pools, how many bars, how many restaurants, the capacity of the people, what type of cabins they have. And then they give you every information of every single cabin. So at least you guys get to know a little bit about that ship. A lot of people don't know this. I know this because I'm a travel advisor, and that's my little kind of like cruise Bible, you can say. That's my little cheat sheet. I pull every cruise line through there. I put the name and I put fact sheet, which is FACT, and then the word sheet. And you will find every cruise out there with no problems. Just like not so long ago, I had a lady that she didn't even know that you can go online because she needed wheelchair assist. And a lot of people don't know that because you need wheelchair assist, you can submit up to 30 days prior to your cruise what is called a special needs form. If you ever need that special needs form, you can put Royal Caribbean special needs form on Google and it'll pop up. Celebrity Cruises special needs form, MSC Cruises special needs form. Every cruise line has one. You submit it online, you submit it through the system, or you can send them an email. It tells you exactly how to submit it. And they will reply back saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we got your information. We have everything ready for you to onboard, whatever it is that you need, whether it's a wheelchair assist, whether it's for CPAP machine, whatever the case may be, whether you need a container for your syringes because you have, the A1C, I think what it's called. If you need a little refrigerator in your cabin because you're bringing some type of medicine that needs to be refrigerated, they can assist with that. If you need the still water, they can assist with that. So you have to fill out the special needs form. Every cruise line has one. If you're traveling with a minor child, you have to have, if that child is not your child, you have to have a minor consent form. Every cruise line has a minor consent form. All you got to do is type Royal Caribbean minor consent form on Google, and boom, there it goes. There goes your letter. You print it out, you fill it out, you notarize it, and that's what you take to the cruise line. A lot of people don't know this information. And that's the reason why you need like a good travel advisor to help you with all this information, because I've heard so many different stories since I've been in a travel advisor. I sometimes been on my own trips and I've been talking to other friends that I meet, or people that I meet, and they're like, well, I didn't even know that even was a thing. And, and I had a hard time trying to get this and that and the other, but it's because there's always a form for all sorts of stuff. So if you're not working with a travel advisor, Google will be your best friend. Google it all because it's out there. I don't sail on RCL if you need to use a wheelchair. Don't sail on RCL if you need to use a wheelchair. I don't know what was your experience, Harlan, but I've seen in the times that I've gone on RCL, I've never seen anybody that has either a wheelchair access or maybe a scooter having an issue on Royal Caribbean. That's my experience. I don't know, maybe your experience was a little different, but I've seen that a lot where they do help and they bring you in and out of the ship. That I have seen. Let's see. One question that I got is the cruise ship food good? What do you all think? Every cruise is different. I know some of you might have been on maybe possible Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, MSC, Princess, Oceania, Viking Cruises, P&O, AIDA. There's a whole bunch of cruise lines out there. Even now, Margaritaville at sea. Every cruise line, food is going to be completely different. I have heard good things and I have heard bad things, but it's also depend on the individual. Some individuals are a little bit more picky than others. Some of them are more foodie than others. So if you're a foodie kind of person, you might have a little bit of a situation in Carnival, possibly Margaritaville. But I'm not saying that all of Carnival is bad. No, because then I will be lying to you. Like if you get on the Excel class ships, they have amazing food on Carnival on their Excel class ship. But if you're, and when I talk about Carnival, I'm saying maybe the buffet kind of thing, but their specialty dinings are really good. Their main dining rooms are okay. I've never been on Margaritaville to know about, their food in Margaritaville, but I've been on Royal Caribbean and they have great food. Celebrity has amazing food. There is a little bit higher on the level. Norwegian, great food on Norwegian for sure. Let me see, Holland America, their food was really good when I went on Holland. I haven't been on Princess yet, but those are the types of ships that I have actually traveled. The only situation that I will say when it comes to buffet, like buffet across the board, like Carnival, MSC, Royal Caribbean, and all of that, I will say that the best buffet, if I were to rank them, number one will be Celebrity Cruises. Number two will be Royal Caribbean for me. Number three will be MSC Cruises. Number four will be Norwegian. And then I would leave Carnival at the bottom. And the only reason is because I see that in Carnival, every station has the same food versus the rest in every station, they have different types of food. And I could understand what they're trying to do on the Excel, at least in the Excel class ships, because you have a whole lot of more variety other than just the buffet. Like you have Guy Fieri, you have Pig and Anchor, you have all the little kind of like food truck kind of setting on the side. You got the taco cantina bar. So you have a lot of more variety. But when it comes to the actual buffet, hey Keith, welcome in, sir. When it comes to the actual buffet itself, I think that I truly miss how Carnival was before the pandemic. They had a great buffet, excuse me, before the pandemic. And I truly miss that from Carnival. I wish if Carnival is hearing me now, bring it back, guys. Bring it back, especially the bacon. Like, why do we need bacon every other day? We need bacon every day. But and I say this out of, with a lot of love because I like Carnival. And I wish they could bring that buffet back to what it used to be, like everybody else in the fleets of like Royal Caribbean and all of that stuff. It was great when you could have different stations with different foods. It was amazing. I've heard a lot of great things about Celebration Key, guys. A lot of great things are coming, good and bad. It's always something, but I've heard mostly good things about Celebration Key. And I know that Keith has a little group that he's going next month, and he's going to be, maybe, who knows, maybe Keith can maybe do like a little kind of like live stream, because I heard that if you buy the Wi-Fi package on board, you can use the Wi-Fi package on Celebration Key. So maybe he could do like a little live stream and kind of show us around if he can. But I also know that he's going with his family, so I'll leave that up to Keith. Another question that I've received as a travel advisor was, what shore excursions do you recommend? Well, when it comes to shore excursion, it truly comes down to where you're going. What do you enjoy doing? Are you adventurous? Are you more like a foodie kind of person? You want to do maybe walking tours of food and beverages? Or are you an adventurous that you want to go zip lining or scuba diving, kind of thing? Or are you more like a hiking kind of person? Or it just depends, what you enjoy doing and also where you're going. So when it comes to shore excursions, I've always told everybody that knows me, if you ever go to Tortola, guys, the baths, like the bathroom, the bath is the actual shore excursion that is a must see. It is something that you're not going to see anywhere in this world. It's like a different type of paradise. And I have gone when it's a sunny day, and I have gone when it's a little bit on a rainy day. When it's sunny, it's so beautiful because it's so crystal clear. It's just amazing. So if you're ever in Tortola, go check them out. But if you're ever in Puerto Rico and you're adventurous, try Toro Verde. Toro Verde is where you actually do the 1 mile zip lining kind of thing. I did that and I loved it. If you're more of a foodie guy and you're in San Juan, you could do the San Juan Taste of San Juan tour, and you would like that kind of stuff. If you are more of a calm person and you just want to kind of like get on a bus and kind of sightsee, then you could do maybe the 10 best or the 5 best of wherever it is that you're going, and you're kind of like seeing all the stuff, but then you're also getting off for maybe 15-20 minutes. You're going to do your thing there, you get back on your bus, and you continue to roll around everywhere that you go. So there's all sorts of different excursions, guys, for all sorts of people out there. One of the best tours I took takes almost all the time in St. John's. Harlan, I went to St. John's, and if you guys saw that vlog from St. Thomas this past month, I'm over here telling you, oh, we're going to go to St. John's. And then we're like, hold on. We didn't get to go because I was not prepared for St. John's. I didn't do all of my homework. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't do my homework. I didn't feel properly prepare for that, and I didn't want to just waste an excursion. So thank you, Carnival, if you're hearing me, because Carnival actually last minute was very kind to reimburse that excursion back, and we did something completely different. We went on the sky ride in St. Thomas, and we had a great time over there. And then we went to Kmart and had even a fantastic time. We even did a shout out to Muncie out there. My parents will zip line to their Black Friday cruise deals. See, Samara loves swimming with dolphins. I have a daughter that she loves swimming with the dolphins, so she enjoys that kind of thing. We went to Ocean World where you guys saw the capybaras. If you haven't seen that vlog, go check it out. The Ocean World vlog. That was a lot of fun, and it was my first time actually meeting a capybara in person. My daughter mentioned it to me. I said, I've never heard of that. So I guess if you want to see it, we can go check it out. We bought our tickets and I fell in love with the little capybaras. And now I actually want one of my own, but I'm not going to have one. It's just too much to handle. But, and actually here, if you live here in Tampa and you're around the St. Pete area, they actually have a capybara interaction cafe. I think they're charging about $50, 20 minutes. I think that's a little steep, to be honest, but you guys get to pet the capybaras, and they have other animals there that you can pet as well, and you can drink your little coffee. So there you guys have it. Let's see. Swimming with the dolphins was the first solo shore excursion. I bet you had a great time, Samara. I enjoy swimming with the dolphins. I swam with the dolphins in Freeport, Bahamas. That was fun as well. Yeah, swimming with dolphins is really cool. I did it many years ago. My daughter and I did it in Punta Cana in Dominican Republic. And I remember grabbing into his fin and he just took me away. It was a lot of fun. Oh, St. John's in New Brunswick, Canada. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Harlan. I thought you were talking about St. John's in the Caribbean. No, I've never been there. But I'm sure that you probably enjoy that all-day excursion. Yes, and I got the photo package, laugh out loud. It was my ride like a splash mountain. Oh my God, I could picture you right now, Samara, over there with the dolphin. That, you know, I would love to see pictures. So if you have pictures, send them over. Guys, have you ever had this question? And I had this question from a friend of a friend. They say they've never been on a cruise, and they call me one night and they say, if I were to book a cruise, how would I enjoy it? Like, what is it that I have to do to enjoy it? I find it kind of like, okay, like, what is he trying to say? But yeah, how do I enjoy my first cruise? It's one of those things that when you're a cruiser, you can talk about cruising to somebody and explain them all sorts of cool stuff. But everybody's first time is completely different. But I know for a fact that once you get on that ship for the first time, you're going to come back, and you're going to come back over and over and over, because it's something that is completely different to do. And that's why cruising, if you look at the news and you look at the statistics out there, cruising is growing, guys. It's growing dramatically. There's more people cruising today than they were 5 years ago. Like, the numbers are crazy. Like, as travel advisor, guys, and before I answer this question about how do I enjoy my first cruise, like, I was looking back when I started with Expedia Cruises. And keep in mind that when I started with Expedia, this was like towards the tail end of the pandemic. Like, when cruising was actually starting. I don't know if you guys remember, the first cruise that came out was out of Nassau, Bahamas, and it was Adventure of the Seas. So in order for you to get there, you have to actually literally get on a plane from wherever you were, travel to the Bahamas, go through that COVID testing and all of that shingling back in the time to get on Adventure of the Seas. And just because you got on Adventure of the Seas back then, it was only like maybe 400 or 500 people. It's not like if the ship was full to capacity, because that's not even what it was back then. But when you look at those numbers and you look at the numbers today, it's just booming. Like it is very hard for us to sometimes be able to assist a client some of the times. I'm not going to say all of the times, because a lot of the bookings, even if it's a year ahead, are almost sold out. Like I had a lady that just called me for next year, and on where was it, on the Norwegian Viva, I think it was, yeah, Norwegian Viva. That ship, I don't even know how many cabins it had, but it only had like 115 cabins left for that specific sailing. Ridiculous. And that's next year. I'm talking about next year, like in October of next year, like a year and change from us. And that's how many people are actually cruising and how many people are booking every day. So that's what I always tell everybody. Try to book your cabins at least a year to a year and a half in advance. And there's a lot of perks to that, believe it or not. You got the perks that, you book your cabin, and then if something were to go down, like a drop in price or a special perk or whatever, then you can always, you could work with your travel agent to get those perks down the road. But yeah, like cruising there's more people cruising than what they're actually flying, like on an airplane. It's just crazy. And now there's like this really big boom for Europe. Like everybody wants to go to Europe. Like everybody's traveling to go to Europe. And Alaska obviously has its own season, which is from May to September. So that's the only time you can actually go to Alaska, because you can go to Alaska after that, or before May, or after September. So you only have a short period of time in Alaska. Then you have the people that are either transatlantic from here to Europe, or Europe back to Florida, however which way. But yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Europe is the best in summer. It is the best in summer. I went to Europe, and I went on a time frame, and I'll be honest, I took the advice of one of my own clients, and she wasn't wrong, guys. I've never done a Europe, so I really asked those questions, because I'm like, okay, what is the best time? She said, go at the end of May or beginning of June, which is kind of like their spring break is finishing and summer is kind of starting. But she says, don't go like too much into the mid of June and July, because it's super hot over there. Welcome in, Miss Margot. How are you, my love? But it's just crazy. Like it's insane. Like what I say, it was the best time of my life. There was no rain. It was a little chilly. Still, like in Paris, it was about 60 degrees. But when we were getting ready to leave Paris, Paris was getting down to like 80, 90 degrees. And it was crazy, because when we got back, because we left Paris on the 17th to go to Zurich, Switzerland. And when I got back home, they had just closed the Eiffel Tower due to a heat wave. So you want to go end of May, beginning of June, but all the way to the middle, not past that time, because it's way too hot. But you can still enjoy it. It's not like you're not going to enjoy it, but it's going to be way hotter. So it was really cool. So to answer the question about how do you enjoy your first cruise? When somebody's asking a friend or a family member, asking, well, I've never been on a cruise, so how would I enjoy it? Well, my answer to my friend was, you gotta try it. You have to give it, take it, go in there with an open heart, and enjoy the things that you like. Write down the things that you want to do. But even if you don't do them all, it's okay, because you can always come back. That's the good thing about cruising, because a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to cruise and I want to do this. And then they get all frustrated because they couldn't do 90 things that they wanted to do. But even if you do 10 or 15 of those, you still enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? So always go in with an open heart. Like, I'm going to go here and I'm going to enjoy, and I'm going to travel on this first cruise. I'm going to take it all in. Let me see what I like, what I don't like. Because in cruising, they have, they have trivias, they have shows, they have all sorts of stuff. So it just depends what you really like to do. So that's what I would tell a first time cruiser. Don't try to do everything because you're not going to be able to. Don't overwork yourself. Just enjoy it for what it really is. Don't overpack either, guys, because half of the things that you take, you don't even use. Like for instance, I went to Europe and I took a whole entire luggage and I took a carry on. And I'll be honest with you, half of the stuff that I took, I didn't even use. So now I know that whenever I go back again, I'm going to take way less, way less. But it was because I was going to so many different places. And I said, okay, maybe I'm going to need this, that, the other. And half of the time, I really didn't need it, all of that. But, try not to overpack, which is one of the things, and enjoy it for what it really is. Take your time to visit the ports, to see, to taste some of the culture of foods in the different ports, if that's something that you enjoy, or even walk around. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid of getting off the ship and seeing something new, because I've actually had customers that are like, well, I'll go on a cruise, but I don't like to get off the port because I've heard this, that, the other. Just because you've heard it doesn't mean it happens all the time. It might have happened to that person when that person went, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen when you go. So you got to actually get out of the ship, look at these ports, enjoy. Hello, how are you, Armstrong? Thank you so much for being here. So, try to enjoy it. Try to embrace something new in your life. Look at the ports. I'm the type of person that I love to talk to the locals. I like to hear where to go eat, because just because you're there in a tourist area, you don't always want to eat where the tourists eat. You want to actually go where the locals go. And don't be afraid, because there are amazing people out there. I'm not going to say, not to be, be careful, obviously, but there's always great people. Like when we went to Europe, I asked the taxi cab, hey, where is the best place out of the touristy area to eat here in Rome? They gave us a couple of options. We actually went to one of them and the food was amazing. I had an amazing time, great food with my family, and we truly enjoyed it. And then when we were in Paris, we went to a touristy area to eat and the food was horrible and it was expensive. I should have just gone back to where we had our lunch that earlier that day, that it was way better. I spent more money in food in Europe than the actual hotel. You could, but the food in Europe is really good though. It's really, really good. Know what you want to go out of your way, places to eat and sightsee. Yeah, write them down. Even if you don't do them all, at least you can do some of it. And you can feel fulfilled that you actually went out and you went to a new port and you kind of saw whatever you needed to see. Even if you walk around the port, if you're that person that you're just so worried to get out of the port for whatever your reasonings are, the actual ports have a lot to offer you. Welcome in, Cruise Nuts. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Miss M right here says, when I get back on the ship, unless it's a cool water show, I'm really not interested, because if I really wanted, I could see the shows here in New York. Just saying. That is true. Now, to tell M, if you get on Royal Caribbean, Star of the Sea, Icon of the Seas, all of the Oasis class, the water shows are amazing. I'm looking forward to the water show. I think it's called, the skating show on Star is called Soul, which we're going to be talking about Star of the Seas next week. Come back if you want to hear about Star of the Sea, because I'm actually getting prepared to go there. And I actually have a full itinerary that I got from Royal Caribbean with all of the shows. And I'm going to be talking about that a little bit next week on our show. So come back to that show next week if you want to hear about that. But like Cruise Nuts, I could just say Mike right here from Cruise Nuts. He likes Cozumel. He enjoys visiting there. So I'm sure that when he went on the first time, he was probably like, okay, let me check it out. And now he loves it so much that he kind of like has another second home over there in Cozumel. I love Cozumel. I have walked through the streets. I have gone through the supermarkets. I have done excursions in Cozumel. I've talked to the local people. I have had tacos from the street. I think I even had a taco at a beach, and the guy was in a bicycle and he had a whole little kitchen attached to the bike, and he was selling the tacos for $1. And let me tell you, they were great tacos, great tacos. don't be afraid, because sometimes what, you got to let yourself enjoy, like you already pay for this cruise, enjoy it, and if you are like a little bit more of a chill pool person, then go to like serenity decks, enjoy that area. You don't have to have all the kids in the jacuzzis and stuff like that. I will say that I know that none of the cruise lines can control it, but it will be kind of, I think, nice to every so often have like the jacuzzis where you have like an adult and then you have 2 or 3 kids in there. I think that they should have a little place where the kids can do that kind of thing. That's my personal view, because I could see some people, and I'm not a pool person. I don't go in the pools on cruises or jacuzzis, but you can see it on the customer side where they're in there, let's say with friends, and then a kid come in, and then you can kind of like they're looking at the kid like, okay, are you going to leave anytime soon? And then the kids bring other kids into it. And next thing you know, what do? They get up, the adults get up, and then they just leave because they feel a little uncomfortable. So I think that the cruise line needs to do something when it comes to that kind of stuff so that the adults, the paying adults, can enjoy as well. I feel the same way, Emily. I don't do Broadway shows really nice. We live near the best shows on earth. Yeah, that's completely true. I agree with you there, Keith. But it's so cool that when you see the Broadway shows on Royal Caribbean, to put it that way, because they are the beast when it comes to Broadway shows. They're really cool. Someone in Cosimo wanted to do hair braids. You would look really cute with some hair braids. That's for sure. Cosimo is a saver than my neighborhood here in Texas. That's correct. I love Cozumel. Cozumel has a lot to offer. If you ever go to Cozumel, even though it's a small little island, there's a whole lot to do in Cozumel. Like if you're able to like rent a little Jeep or something, you can actually drive and see all these really cool beaches that you probably won't even know existed. Because Cozumel is a small island that you can literally like travel the whole island in one day and be back on the cruise on time. Like, and there's a lot of little different areas throughout the streets of Cozumel that you can stop, eat, and maybe take a cool picture or two, and then continue your little route around Cozumel. You could do your own excursion. Research is always your friend. Like research the place where you're going to go, look at the excursion through the cruise line, and then look at the research, look at the places they're standing, look and see, put a map up and say, okay, let me map this out. Let's see where this starts, where it ends, where it's going. How much is it going to cost me if I do it on my own, or how much is it going to cost me if I do it with the cruise line? Then you have to figure that. Once you have that figured out, then you got to say, okay, do I want to do it with the cruise line to feel more safe, that if something happens, I know that the ship is going to be waiting for me? Or am I an expert enough to know what I'm doing and I'm going to go and get it done and come back? That's what you really got to balance. How you feel. If you are a person that you're afraid of doing something outside of the cruise line, then I will 100% say all your excursions through the cruise line, you're safe, you're coming and going. And if something were to happen, the ship is there. If you're more of an expert cruiser, then you can do like other stuff where you can say, you know what, I can do this, and that on my own. I have done it before. I went to Palma de Mallorca. I did my own excursion. I got on a taxi. The taxi took me to where I wanted it to go. I did my excursion. I ate. We had gelato, all sorts of stuff. We enjoyed. We even had pastries and who knows what not over there. And then we got back on a taxi and they took us back to the port. And we were there like an hour and a half to 2 hours ahead of time. And we had a great time. So it just depends. Truly, it just depends. M says, I have left the Bahamians out of my hair and braids. It's so cute, but it's tight at first, then you can use it too. Yeah, that is true. Be careful with the sun after your hair is done. Okay. So if you're getting a hair braid, make sure you be careful, because it is true. You're probably going to get your scalp all burnt out, because the sun over there is really, really hot. But it's also really pretty. Like if you go to Cozumel, if you go to the Bahamas, Grand Turk, Cayman Islands, All of those ports have beautiful beaches. Like I love going to Cayman Island and going to the 7 Mile Beach. It's one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. The baths in Tortola is a beautiful beach that you probably won't see like a whole lot of them out there. Where else did we go? When we went to Europe, there was some really nice beaches up in Europe as well. I'm not sure what their names were because we actually didn't do like beach going to the beach, but we passed by some and there were some really nice beaches. There was one that had a lot of rocks and people were just laying on them. And I'm like, oh, that must hurt because I wouldn't be want to laying on a rock, but they were just laying down there like if it was nothing. Um, Kruzna says, love snorkeling in Grand Cayman. Grand Cayman is great for snorkeling for sure, Mike. You can see a lot of cool stuff on that water. The only thing, the water is so clear that you can see everything. I used to live in Killing Copper's Cove area. Then I live in Austin. You're more toward Dallas. I guess he's talking to somebody up there. Lookout Cay, the sun is very strong. Let me tell you, Samara, that Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, I think I said it right. They need to do something. They need to, in that walkway, especially during this time with this heat, I think they need to have something to cover it up because I think they said it was like what, 0.50, it's like maybe half of a mile of walking in the pure sun with like no kind of anything to help you out unless you bring your own UV umbrella or something like that. I think that Disney there needs to do something a little bit better. See, it takes 10 to 15 minutes to walk it. That's insane. In the pure sun, blazing at your head with your new braids. Could you imagine? You will be toasted. You will be toasted. And a long walk like a Disney marathon. I've actually been on Disney Fantasy 10 years ago. Actually, about 11 years ago, and I did the 3 mile run. I remember at Disney Castaway Key, and I still have my little medallion thing that they give you, and I got a shirt and something else for it. So it was really cool. But yeah, guys, like there's just so much to do while you're cruising. I will say, research, your stops, your short excursion. Look at all the things. Just do one thing that you can do here where you live. Like, for instance, I live in Tampa. I live in Florida. So I try, when I go on cruises, I try to do something completely different than I can do here at home. But I'm more of a historical person. So I like to learn about the different history and stuff like that. That's what I think I love about going to Europe. There was so much history, so much to learn. And I felt that I left there still empty from all of the stuff that I probably could have learned, but there was so much to see at one point, and it's very hard to see it all, like in the limited of time that you have. Excuse me. So, try your best to, do some research, put some notes down, put a couple of notes per day of what you're doing. And even if you don't accomplish all of it and you accomplish one thing, at least it's kind of cool because you can always come back. You can always go back whenever you can and do the other stuff. Look at that. Cruise now. Long SPF shirts, and white brim hats, and a cold margarita drink that sun won't touch me unless I let it. Laugh out loud. That's right. At Half Moon Cay was very hot. My wife found a place to sit with a fan and we went back to the ship. Look at that. So see, you guys having a good time. Actually, for those of you that have not been to Half Moon Cay in a good minute, they actually put sidewalks. Now you no longer have to do a lot of sand walking. They actually have a lot of sidewalks for most of their places there. So it's kind of like really cool. When my husband and I went there sometime last year, it was really nice to kind of like enjoy walking in the pavement instead of the sand. It was much easier to get around. I'm looking forward to checking out Celebration Key. I haven't yet done a booking to go that way yet. As you guys know, one of my daughters is getting married next year. So I am trying to figure all of that out before I start booking anything out there. So next year, I think I've only have one booking done for next year, but I haven't done much until I figure that out and then figure out my schedule, what it's going to look like for next year. But I'm definitely wanting to go to Celebration Key. I know that there's still a lot of kinks and twerks over there that they're still fixing. So I'm going to let all of that ride. And then that way, when I go, everything is working the way it's supposed to work. So kudos to you guys in Carnival for that private island. I heard very good things about it, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Keith has to say when he gets back from his trip next month. That he's going with his with Mama Nancy and his beautiful wife over there to Celebration Key. So I'm really looking to hear from that information. There is no Greek restaurant in Malta. I didn't see any, that's for sure. And I researched it last week. I can double check for you, Mr. Harlan, and I can let you know tomorrow. But yeah, so for those of you, tomorrow we have our Across the Wave. I do apologize. Last week we had to cancel it with 30 minutes before the cruise. We're having before the cruise. Look at that. We're always talking about cruise before the show. We had a storm coming around and the Wi-Fi just went completely gone. So we couldn't do the show because there was no Wi-Fi that was working. We tried and tried and tried, and there was no way that we can get it done. So this week, tomorrow, we were going to be talking about the Port of Malta and Across the Wave. Keith will not be here, but Keith will be on the show because he actually videos some information for us for the news. So he will be in that part of his news portion of it. And hopefully soon we'll be having Keith back in Across the Wave. And yeah, I can't wait. And next week we're going to be talking about Start of the Seas because I'm going to start getting ready for that. So if you have questions, guys, let me know. If there's something that you want to see, because I'm going to be actually doing a live streaming from over there, God permitting, the Wi-Fi works. And I'm going to be vlogging it as well. I'm going to be doing a full ship tour of it. So if there's a place, something you want to know, something you need information in, please send it to my cell phone, 813-608-2935. Or you can email me at jagonzalez@expediacruises.com. And I'll be more than happy to get you that information for you and send it over your way. You can also check us out on Traveling with Tinkerbell on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you have not become yet part of Traveling with Tinkerbell on Facebook, go over there because I post a lot of different stuff wherever we go, whatever I do during the weekend and things like that. I post there first. So check that out. And our Instagram page as well. Become a part of the Traveling with Tinkerbell. I think we have like 417 in our community there. So it's growing little by little. So we're continuing to growing strong. So, and that's all thanks to you guys. I appreciate all of you guys for always being here and for all of your support. Always, guys, always. And I hope that, what I bring to you on Tuesdays, is one of your enjoyment and also information. And if there's something that you guys want to know, that you guys want me to talk about on this show, please let me know. Or if you want to come on the show, please let me know as well. I will be doing a special show with Dave Contrell. And it's going to be August 20. Hold on. I think it's the 21st or the 22nd. Let me see. He invited me, him and his Disney team over there invited me to his show. It's going to be on the 21st of August. We're going to put everything together. It's going to be on my YouTube channel as well. And we're going to be talking about two ships that the Disney community wants to know about. So we're going to be going to his show on that Thursday, and we're going to be talking about two ships. I think the information, I'm going to talk to Dave to see if we can put everything together for next week so that you guys can have all that information ready. And if you'd like to come and check us out in his show, then I will be there with them. I always try to help everybody in the community out. Like if you're new YouTuber and you would like to come on the show and get known, out there, please call me. I'll be more than happy to do that as well. But in the meantime, guys, it's already 8 o'clock. So this is the end of our show. And like always, I love you guys all to the moon and back. I love you guys. You know, I love you guys. Love you guys all to the moon and back. Please stay safe. May God bless each and every one of you guys. And I will see you on the next one. But I will also see you tomorrow and Across the Wave on the show. We were going to be going to Malta at 8 p.m. Toodaloo for now, guys. Love you. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me for this full hour. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the show.